Breakfast Daily. So we've been talking about affordable housing issues. We seem to be having some challenges with that, but in education, we are making some huge strides, especially those, who are making sure that STEM becomes something that we all open up to. We need it desperately like yesterday, and that is why for us here, Stemnovation is something that we are very excited about. So we started a conversation on Monday, and we are continuing today. Where have we gotten to with Stemnovation? We've been joined in the studio by Deputy National Coordinator, Free SHS, Nanabna Afrasika Mensa, and of course, Aaron Chumakobwa is, anything Akobwa I like. Yeah, anything Akobwa I like.
You don't love me.
Yeah. So I like you very much. And Aaron Chumakobwa is Director, Strategic and Innovation, Ministry of Education. Hi Akobwa, hi Sika. No, I have two of my favorites, names there. I love Sika, I love Akobwa. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Well, thank you for having us.
Super. So where are we? I'll start with you. Sika, where are we? We started a conversation on Monday. Where are we with Stemnovation?
Okay, good morning to everyone, and greetings to the Honorable Minister. And
as for the Minister, he's
the Chief Advocate for the Stemnovation.
Yeah, it is okay.
And also our Coordinator for Free Senior High School. So the grand finale is tomorrow and then Friday. So arrival of the students are today. So some have even arrived at campus, University of Ghana, Legon. So we are expecting others to arrive this evening. So we will receive them today, this evening. We have orientation for them. Then we will start with the whole activity tomorrow and then Friday.
Now, Kopa, let me come to you. How strategic, and innovative is this whole Stemnovation project?
Well, innovation, when you think about innovation, you think of that root word of like invent, to create. Well, it's the first one that we're doing with public schools in Ghana. Okay. Stemnovation came from some private schools, some Catholic schools in Ghana with JSS. And the innovation is that students are actually doing something in this contest.
Yeah.
You see, and doing something that will be directly meant for socioeconomic change. And so three of the categories are so integral to what we need to do to change our country. I was overhearing the conversation about the housing crisis and the slums and things and that. Like, what do slums need? Slums and all kind of housing projects need electricity. So we have solar as a category. So our students are harnessing all this heat that we get. We are literally the middle of the earth. My degree's in geography. And if you look at it, we're the closest landmass to 0, on the planet. We're the middle of the earth. That means we get 12 hours of sunlight, 365 days a year for the most part. And we need to harness that. So our students are using those skills to do that. Then we're also talking about recycling. If you look around any large city in the world, there is just a huge issue with trash and the rest, right? So our students are also using that as a category again to innovate and give us new and different ideas that maybe we have not thought of, right? And the last one is coding and programming. I see you're on your tablets. I see that our camera people are doing everything programmed and everything else. Well, this is a wonderful thing to have happen. But what if we can do this from a distance? What if we can do this in a different manner? What if we can do it quickly and easily? And so that's why it's innovative. And so I don't want to cast aspersions on any other contest in the country, but other contests are asking young people to remember things that people have done. These young people are creating things so people remember them.
Now, one may ask to what end? Because if we have professors, we have experts who are doing so much, conducting all kinds of researches, and we are practically not doing anything with these kind of researches, these findings that they are bringing. What shows that we are going to pay attention to children?
Let me do two things there. First of all, I would argue that, and I want to say this on TV, that we cannot say things like nothing. That's an absolute term. And to say that our professors are receiving no support or getting nothing is a falsehood, number one, and it's a level of disrespect to themselves and what's happening. That's number one. Number two.
But that's not what we are doing.
But that's number two. That's not true. So number two, the issue at hand is this. As a society, we have to remove this label of children and of young person. I'm 41 years old. When I go into the ministry, that's silly. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't help us in any capacity. An idea is an idea. So you're not going to allow the idea because a 14-year-old did it. So when Mark Zuckerberg was in college, were we waiting on his professors to get funding, or are we waiting on him to create Facebook? You see what I'm saying? So we have to take those direct examples that we see. That's just in general. But in particular to this, what we've done is that we've partnered with individuals in country and outside the country, outside the jurisdiction, to ensure that we're looking towards patents, We're looking towards getting these young men and women scholarships, looking towards being able to have the communities themselves use these products. There's one community in the solar division that's already using the solar powered light in their community. So
Okay.
the end is
Okay.
social, economic growth and transformation. And we're already seeing it happen.
Right. Now, Sika, so now these, I'm not going to call them children, these talented.
No,
I
they're
mean,
children.
no, I'm
Disrespect
saying
them.
something. No,
They're
it's not
children.
disrespect. No, it's
Disrespect
not
them.
disrespect because we live in a society. This is our culture. This is our orientation. I mean, in terms of even choosing leaders, age is a factor. And we can't run away from the fact that this is who we are as a people. Maybe it's about time we also pay attention to changing that mindset, giving room to young people, who knows what to come and do it regardless of how old they are. Now, with all the things they're going to be exhibiting, how is the nation going to benefit, on a national level? So Akopa just mentioned that. So for instance, with the young people who are doing solar stuff, they are already doing stuff in their communities. On the national level, you keep saying that the minister is championing this cause. Fantastic. But how does that translate to national development?
Okay, we are even, as it stands now, we are working on a STEM policy, which we are waiting for cabinet approval. So definitely, when a cabinet approve of it, it will be a national thing, and government will tap into it. For instance, the Rara school who did the solar thing and it's serving as a source of electricity to their community. We don't need government don't need to go there to empower them. The children, we need to just resource the children so that they can just do more to their community. I mean, the deprived communities in their region. So it's solving a societal problem within their region.
And I need some in my area as well.
We will come and help you with that.
Yeah.
And then the coding and programming, for instance, a school have developed like an easier system, which you need to, like, you don't need to go to the school, pick a card, you go to a headmistress, the house mistress is not around, senior house mistress is not there. You realize that the student is dying in the school. We need to change all this narrative.
Yeah.
So you just have to log on to the system. My ward said he's not feeling well. I want him to come home and the rest. You can track till your work gets home. So these are some of the wonderful projects these students have created. And we need to resource them and then empower them. So we will urge our opinion leaders, government officials to come in and then adapt some of these projects to help solve societal issues.
My challenge with some of the innovations that we come up with, right, is as far back as the late 90s, on KNUST campus, we had already done the fufu pounding machine. We had already done a certain kind of automated traffic light system, okay, on campus. Till this day, I don't see the functionality, the multiplication, the proliferation of these technologies. And this is just to name a few, because we used to have this Indutech and these other events to basically, showcase the technologies that we're making, right? But I don't see them in our nation. Akwaba, please go ahead.
So the first thing in response to that, that's absolutely correct, right? So in doing some of the research I did before I moved back to Ghana, I'm thinking to myself, why is it that Ghanaians leave Ghana and become great? I hate to say it like so simply, so blunt, but I mean, it didn't last for a long time, but the exchequer was a Ghanaian. He was Kwesi.
Yeah.
There are people all over, especially the United States. Some of the most successful black people in the United States are Ghanaian and Nigerian. But when you come back home to West Africa, we're not seeing those things happen, right? So one of the biggest things that we did in judging these is that we actually talked through what is the sustainability and the multiplicity. It's literally asking the young people to be thinking that way. And as we move into the next steps of Stemnovation and our STEM processes, is the connection of the scientific genius with the marketing genius, right? Because every one of these major companies, especially the major tech companies, there are 2 or 3 of them. And there's the science genius, and then there's the marketing genius, the person who can get in front of you and sell it, right? And so that's part of the process. So we literally are asking them, how can you make a bunch of these? Because if you made one, what does it do? Because it doesn't get to your town. It doesn't get to your cancer. It doesn't get back to my hometown. So the whole point of it is, let's start that process there when we ask the young people that. And then as we talk to the investors and the people who are going to support them, we ask them, don't get involved in this if you're not trying to make 1,000. Don't get involved in this if you're not trying to make 5,000 or more, because that's the point. So it's not necessarily going to be easy, but that's something we're thinking about already. We don't want one. We want thousands.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot because that sort of, in my mind, fixes a number of problems. You know, because look, it's real. In this country, we come up with some of the most brilliant innovations, and ever since this whole entrepreneurial drive started, you see people creating all kinds of things, and it's like you hit a roadblock. You can't seem to multiply. So if the creators are already thinking scalability of this idea, then that in itself is a solution. You know, because you create one and it's like, I'm looking for someone else to come and help me multiply. But before you start the creation process, you already have a plan in place to say, how am I multiplying this? Then for me, that's...
Yeah, so for example, how do you even speak in a presentation?
Okay.
So one of the things that our minister talks about a lot is the timidity of the average Ghanaian student.
Yeah.
And back to our point of, they're not going to listen to me because I'm a child. I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And it gets even worse when you talk about gender and also about some young men and women who are coming from more deprived areas. Or maybe some across Sydney, all these different types of things, right, that are going to happen in their minds. So what we need to do is we need to actually change and support the arts, the debates, the discussion, the way to stand up, shake a hand.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
Yeah.
And bring that person in because you, with your billion-dollar dream and your 5-city note, a checkbook, is not going to happen. You need to give your billion-dollar dream to a $1 million company to help you. You see? But if you can't get into that boardroom, look them in the face, speak whatever language that you need to speak, or write very well in whatever language that they communicate with, and not impact them, then you can't do it. And so that's why we want Stemnovation as we move to be into teams. Because when you have a team of individuals who are coming from different portions of the school or from different disciplines, then we can really truly go forward.
Right. So what is the long-term plan, you know, of Stemnovation? So after this weekend, when we have, let's say, a champion, then what? Who is now going to take up funding? Are we looking at getting benevolent people to come in to support? Is the ministry has the ministry already secured some kind of funding, you know, to take this to the next stage? What exactly is the plan?
That is why I initially said we are, they've sent STEM policy for approval.
Yeah.
So once we get that approval, it's going to be a yearly thing, and every year, definitely the ministry will get a funding for Stemnovation, and then you entreat all corporate bodies to also come on board and support.
So until that policy is approved, what is your plan B?
Oh, as it stands now, Minister even supported us with this maiden edition. So definitely, if the policy is not approved, going forward, definitely he will support us.
So we'll count on the minister, money from his pocket? Can he do that? Is this
So
sustainable?
What we're talking about here is this. Like, number one, I do think it's sustainable because we're starting very small scale. We don't want tomorrow, like tomorrow and Friday, the people who win in these categories, so the 3 winners, we're not saying tomorrow we're going to bring, on Monday, we're going to bring them in and here's your new invention and here's your $7 million to do A, B, C, and D. But do we have sponsors from outside the country? Yes. Do we have sponsors here?
Yes.
Do we have companies that we're working with that may think and say, okay, Goyle is one of our sponsors.
Okay.
And they're recognizing that this thing is going to help them to make fuel production faster and more efficient. We're going to support the students in writing the proposal, go through those processes and have them. So we have individuals already on deck.
Okay.
There's never been a guarantee, but if you're talking about do we have a plan,
Yeah.
it is clearly there. That's why we're leveraging every aspect. And as Nana said, I'm also one of the lead writers for the STEM policy.
Okay.
And so as we're writing the policy and going through the processes there, we're bringing in all stakeholders. And so in the next few weeks, as we continue to do the stakeholder meetings and do all of our engagements, we're able to say, this is what the funding will look like. This is what the interagency and interministerial kind of connections will be. So again, it's for me, it's not a lip service thing. I didn't come to Ghana to sit and hope it would work. I work very, very hard like all of us do, but for a particular purpose. I'm looking for the transformation of Ghanaian society into a place where we can keep our cultural values and the things that make us strong, and then also be very, very wealthy.
How long have you been in Ghana?
I've been back for a year.
A year. I think we need a strategy and an innovation to change our mindset, because that is our biggest issue in this country. You know, how we think, and it affects everything. And we are where we are because of the way we think. So please give us an innovation that will take care of that.
You ready?
Absolutely.
One of them, and something that, you know, I think that needs to happen in our schools in general, is social emotional learning. We need to be able to know how and why we say and do the things we do. When I am angry, why am I angry? How do I respond to that? Number one. Number two, even with our adults, we cannot keep raising our voices at young people or people in general, just because you think you're in a higher position than them.
Yeah.
Something that I always say is that, so you don't respect me. You respect the fact that I'm a director. And I know that. So for example, if I'm in my small car on the weekends driving around and I have on my shorts and I'm coming from the gym and the police pull me, the way they talk to me as if I'm a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
But when they hear the accent, I take out my business card out. Let me be assistant.
Exactly.
But when I'm in my Nissan Patrol and I'm dressed like this, it's director, it's honorable, it's everything. Immediately, I have every title in the world.
It's chairman.
Chairman, we try to doctor. I'm doctor. I'm all these things. I'm not.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm
So
the
that
same
is
man
exactly
The same
from yesterday. I'm the
person.
same person from
Same
5 hours
person.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very simple. So it's about social emotional learning and how to respect each other without positionality, and understanding that some of our cultural norms are so beautiful. I'm not going to go to my hometown and see the chief or one of the sub chiefs who happens to be my uncle and just say hello. I won't do
Doesn't
that.
happen like that.
That's disrespectful. There's a process. But he also, if I don't say it that way, he also won't raise his voice. Traditionally, he'll have someone direct me, support me to learn how to do that. So it's interesting that we talk about the fact that we're too traditional and that's what's holding us back. No, we've taken a lot of the modern westernized things and bastardized them.
Exactly.
Instead of keeping the things that we truly have and having that level of respect.
No, we need a whole
Thank
session
you.
on this.
Thank
Trust
you.
me. We need a whole session, so you have to come back later so we do this properly.
Anytime for
right.
you.
Thank you.
You tell me
very
you love
much.
me, so I'll come back.
Of course. Thank you very much, Akwaba.
you.
Thank you very much, Sika, and all the
Want to
best.
say shout out to our people.
Which people?
All
You've
of
already
them.
said to the minister.
No.
The minister has heard you.
The
No, we have a
staff.
list though.
We have a list.
Yeah.
Our
So I'll
sponsors.
just give you 30 seconds to do this because we have to go. Yeah.
Okay. Honorable Minister.
Ah, the minister is
Very good
retired.
morning.
Yes.
Or deputy ministers.
Yes.
Staff
Chief
at the-
Director.
Chief Director. All staff at the Ministry of Education. Staff at the Free SHS Secretariat, our coordinator, Mr. William Dakwa, our partner, Cocktail Media, our sponsor, Talo Oil.
The first people I thought we were going to mention are the children who are doing this amazing stuff.
Yes,
They are
yes,
number
yes.
100 on
No,
the
no, no,
list.
it's none of our Akwaba who said that.
She needs an innovation to
no,
change
they're
the
always,
nation.
they're always my number one. I do want to end with just a huge thank you to all of our young people, and especially their coaches and teachers who supported them and all their families. This takes a lot of time, energy, and sometimes money. We have people coming all the way from Bolgatanga down here, and they're making this sacrifice and taking time out of their schedule to be with us and to support us. And we want to say thank you for that. It means the world.
And we want
Right,
to say
right.
thank you to the two of you for coming
Yes.
through.
Thank you
very
for having
much.
us.
So much.
All right. We'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.